Hello and welcome to another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix of Interea. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, it's available on itch.io for free, at least, up to this point. And if you want to support them in making this game and others, you can go to their Patreon. So, on the last Let's Play, we met this character in the background, who gave us our schedule, which included going to Lux, and then a second city that has some problems with it, well, more problems with it, and then a resort town, where we'll make a speech in the second town if, everybody agrees on it. At which point the main character, me, agreed, but we keep on getting whispers from supposedly the parents saying, don't do it, don't go. And it seems like our husbando emperor is also getting those vibes as well. And let's see, anything else? Oh yeah, something about a woven cult that also wants to kill us. And the jackal. Is there anything else I'm missing? Oh yeah, first one of Interea that didn't have any willies in it. Anyways, let's fix Face Rig's face. And start. In my mind is cluttered at the moment though, trying to figure several things at once. Something about the way the parents, or whatever it was, tried to manipulate my voice, well, it's left me feeling angry, and to have that voice return when things are becoming dangerous again is too much. I mean, here's the thing, my dude. You're hearing the parents' voice, around the time of the battle, and it was like, hey, if you submit to us, everything will go well, and it did. We stabbed the bad wolf, and then, when Emperor Husbando submitted to them, our throat was unslashed, So, I would think have faith in them, and don't get angry at the guys that helped you save your husbando and helped him save you. It only lead me to more two scenarios where they didn't plan for or whatever. Following their orders? Oh, that they would become more controlling or something? They don't know what they're doing, and for them to start making these ominous warnings again about something that could be helpful to us is making me more angry. I see Alex in the main hall, off to the side, reading the inscriptions on the statues. I'm going to tell him about what's being said about him, if only because I feel it's the right thing to do, and because the parents tried to silence me for speaking up about it. As I walk towards him, time stops. There's a certain amount of satisfaction that I feel, along with a good helping of fear, but I'm not letting them fuck things up a second time. What do you mean? I'm confused. Hasn't our relationship with the parents been all good, I don't know. I want real answers before this plan of theirs is put into action. Well, you've changed. You could say this is exactly what I wanted to happen. But I doubt I'll be able to get what I want from them at all that easily. And you haven't. I try to adjust to the feeling of speaking without having my throat to speak with. At least it can't be manually silenced with my synthetic vocal cords. The dragon stares back at me with his typical unfazed stoic stare. It is not I who makes the I don't care. I'm not doing this again. What? Again, I cut him off. Do you have your own thoughts, feelings, stuff like that? There's a moment of silence that tells me he does indeed have his own feelings. Feelings that are certainly annoyed right now. It's not important. It is when you're the only one I can... sorry. It is when you're the only one I can talk to about the parents. What's going on? Why are they doing this again? Doing what again? This whole song and dance. Or listen to your don't do this, do that advice, and then proceed to die. Oh, I guess he's a little miffed because he died. Ish. And then claim that you didn't foresee this happening, or whatever. There's another pause, as if waiting to see if my outburst is finished. You never died. You simply came close to expiring. But we're then saved by parental benevolence. Silence follows once again, but this time it's from my end while I stare at the being in front of me. At least I give him the feeling of being stared at. I haven't summoned a body this time, not really being in the mood to do so. Instead, I just float in the void, watching him from seemingly every angle at once. It's hard to describe how things look in the state, but it's more of a feeling rather than being physically present. For the first time, I sense what feels like disconnect from him. Or maybe it's discomfort, sorry. Whatever it is, I rather enjoy it. So what is it that you want? Why have you forced me to intervene? You already know the answer to that. Well, yes, but putting thoughts into words is important for clarity. Even the parents still communicate with words. It's not thought, imagining the parents talking to one another. I guess it's hard to imagine anything involving them when I don't know where or even when they are. I sigh mentally as I focus on putting my concerns into words, at the same time realizing how the Monder is right in that I need to better organize my feelings to get my point across. Well, first of all, I want to know what the plan is. Why shouldn't I give that speech? A sense of flash of irritation mixed with what feels like a feeling of helplessness from the dragon. You know as well as I that I cannot tell you that. I do know that, but I wonder if all this really is futile. Then I'm not following the plan. With the way things turned out last time, it's clear you have no idea what you're doing. So maybe if I do the opposite of that, this time I'll survive. I sense another outburst of annoyance from the ethereal being. The issue, Dark, is that I myself do not know how the future might play out. I'm only a messenger. Then ask him. That's the whole point of your existence, right? To communicate with the parents and act as a bridge between them and us. And us? They will not tell me. Have you tried? Many times. Then I'm just gonna do what I want. I'll start by telling Alex that what the plans are regarding his future. Dark. The Monder seems to heave a heavy sigh that I can almost hear. The parents only aim to help you. Killing you is exactly what they are trying to avoid. They did a terrible job of that last time. They are not perfect. Time is a delicate thing. Watch it, the time flies, the pendulum swings. Time is a delicate thing to try and manipulate. They may see it as a whole, but as soon as a disruption occurs, unseen consequences occur. When such things happen, there is less time to alter it back to a safe state. Then maybe I should disrupt things now, early on. That would give him plenty of time to fix future kinks, right? Now you're being difficult for the sake of it, Also, you have no idea how time works. This isn't Back to the Future. Well, yeah, I'm tired of this. It's bad enough that I'm practically a puppet, but it's a whole lot worse when the puppet masters don't seem to actually have control. The monitor doesn't say anything. We just stare at one another for what seems like a long time. I don't worry about what's happening on my plane of existence. I imagine that time is moving so slowly that when I return, I'll be in the same moment, walking towards Alex. It's not my place. I see one of his fin-like ears twitch, as if he's heard something I can't. Maybe a warning? If I were to hazard a guess, it would be that great harm would come upon you if you were to proceed with a speech in lupus. I feel that's an obvious guess. Then why go against their advice? The monitor seems to have temporarily given up on waiting for me to form words. Well, to provoke this into happening, first of all. Well, you succeeded, as you can see. Second of all, what about Alex? Why am I not allowed to warn him about what's happening? I do not know the answer to that, Dark. Just that it is not in their plan. This time, I hear a growl under his words, and I'm a bit surprised by the amount of emotion I'm eliciting from this creature. It reminds me that maybe he's more on my side of the bridge rather than the parents. I thought that parents value life above all else. Well, not if that life is a threat to a greater quantity of life. They took control of my voice. I should have at least have the freedom to say what I want. The monitor closed his eyes in a way that tells me he's finally receiving direct communication. Then risk jeopardizing a millennia-long mission you are integral to. His voice is cold and flat. Finally, I feel fully defeated. Powerless, like I felt ever since Amicus kidnapped me from the bedroom in Rome. I'm just a puppet. And if that's the case, it's hard to understand why I'm involved in any of it at all. The monitor opens his eyes and stares back at me, and I see what almost looks like sympathy. I know it may seem unfair, and it truly is, but the parents are taking great sacrifice in interfering as much as they are to guide you. That annoys me quite a bit, especially since it feels like I'm the one doing their dirty work. Yeah, seems like they're giving up a lot. They are. They wish not to do such things to a sapient, but you were chosen for this, and if you listen to their advice, things will be much easier. I shake my imaginary head. Yeah, fine, but I'll warn Alex about what's going to happen to him. Give me your word that you're not going to allow him to be executed, and I'll do what they want. It is not my... Then fucking ask. The monitor raises his brow and sighs heavily again, closing his eyes. A few seconds of silence before he opens them again. You have their word. Now, continue your mission. I only have a moment to feel some surprise at how quickly they gave in before everything around me disappears. When I reappear, I'm back at the university, though I'm no longer in the hall. Instead, I'm standing next to Amicus. Our guide seems to be in the middle of giving instructions once again, this time about our upcoming departure. It takes a second to reorient myself, and I'm a bit annoyed that I've been moved to a different time and place without my knowledge. How did that even happen? Again, the feeling of being a puppet comes to mind. I look over to see Alex standing quietly next to Cassius. If I had acted strangely in the time that's missing from my mind, there's no sign of that in the people standing around me. I'm still a little bit jarred by how quickly the parents agreed to my spontaneous demand. It makes me wonder if it had all been part of the plan. If the parents can sort of see into the future, I wouldn't put it past them to have set this all up. To make it seem as if Alex's life was in danger, and that they only took control of my voice so it would have that thought process. Then, knowing that I would only demand that the traitor's cat's life be saved, it would lock me back into their plan. Parents only mean well. I quell my anger, knowing that showing my emotions now will only make me look unhinged to others. I feel Amicus's light touch on my shoulder. Are you alright, Dark? Maybe I'm not doing such a good job of hiding my emotions. Yeah, I'm good. Bjarni raises his voice. Now, if that'll be all, our ship is ready for departure. Oh, right, I completely forgot. I think I was looking at CGs, and then I went through the other game because I didn't want to bring it up here, and my head's tilted up all of a sudden. And, like, there's CG of Amos's crying face that I don't remember being used, and I looked back at my video and it wasn't. And I was like, okay, maybe if I picked the bad route, that's what you'd see. And I looked through the gallery and there isn't space for that. And then there's a picture of Mira as well. I guess it's unused assets, you know? Yeah, anyways. The dragon feels his being loosened with relief following the human's departure. It only lasts a few seconds before he turns his irritation on the entities in the plane above him. That was excruciating. The void answers with silence. I know you're listening. If I were you, I'd consider answering at least some of his questions. I doubt this will be the last time he tries this. I'm sure you do, but your failure to keep him safe during his previous directive has left him full of mistrust, and rightfully so, I might add. Yes, you only mean well, but my own patience wears thin when I'm made to involve other sapients in your games. Oh, so he is sapient? Well, like, I mean like sapient as in like the other living beings? Oh, I am fully loyal to you and your plan. I'm simply warning you that next time I will not vouch for your benevolence. But consider revealing more to your children rather than just relying on blind faith and obedience. The ship we fly on is larger and less agile compared to the one that Amicus uses. It is also a bit louder, so let's turn the... I mean, you can barely see anything, right? Bugger. Not main menu. Preferences. Still seems to be a bit loud. Oop. There. It's clunky, and I worry a bit as it takes off, the vibrations and noises making me feel as if it's about to break apart in midair. None of the others seem concerned, though, Nephew using the time to fall asleep while Virginia seems glued to her tablet. Amicus sits across from me in his own seat, though there isn't much chance for conversation with how loud the aircraft is. He simply reaches across the aisle towards me, and her fingers brush briefly before he pulls back and also closes his eyes to get some sleep before our landing. Though I try to do the same, it's difficult with how bumpy the journey is, and the only window I can see only shows a gray, overcast atmosphere. So I just sit back and wait. It's not technically a long journey, because of how uncomfortable it is. It almost feels as long as my flight to Rome had been. Maybe a little more than an hour later, we're alerted by comm to brace for our landing. As the rumbling doubles, I wonder for a moment if accidents are common occurrences on Dastra. But then the shuddering interior of the aircraft comes to a sudden halt, as our landing is surprisingly smooth. I follow everyone's lead as they undo their safety harnesses, managing to figure it out before Amicus has to help me. I am ready for him to take my hand, reaching up halfway. But then I remember our conversation about not showing affection in public, and I drop it back to my side. As we exit the aircraft, I'm greeted to that gray, overcast sky, along with jagged, snow-capped mountains. Compared with the lush, green fields and forests near Adastra City, the scenery surrounding Lux is about as bleak as I expected. What I'm struck by most, however, is how cold it is when we exit the aircraft. It's probably above freezing, but with how little clothing I have on, I gasp with the sudden change in temperature. I hear Amicus move up behind me. Did you sleep well? Not really. Amicus, I need more clothing than this. The wolf seems confused at first, looking at me with furrowed brows. What's wrong? It's too cold. I need something to cover my legs and arms. I notice the others looking over at me as I feel myself getting a bit red. It's a bit strange that I should feel embarrassed about being underprepared like this, when I knew nothing about this place we were going. But there's something about me being naturally weak as a human that makes me self-conscious. As far as I know, every sibling is equipped with fur that makes an environment like this one no problem for them to withstand. I shiver, and that's when Amicus finally seems to understand. Oh, yes. Let's get you to a tailor. Should be one around here, even if it is Lux. What seems to be the issue, Amicus? Virginia looks as annoyed and impatient as usual. And right now, I wish I hadn't said anything, despite the fact, judging by how cold it is during the day, I'll be dead during the night if I don't put on more layers. Dark needs extra clothing for the weather. He's already shivering. Virginia examines me, as if looking for reason to become furious with Amicus again, but seems to decide that this is something even she hadn't foreseen. Ah, of course. I imagine the lack of fur would be a hindrance in such a climate. What seems to be the holdup? Is something wrong with a human again? Cassie shouldn't have the power to embarrass me at this point, but I am more aware of how I look now that I am part of an official delegation. But that's when I feel someone stand next to me and look up to see Nefru. Actually, I too am very nearly freezing. Really? You have fur, Nefru? Yes, I've noticed, but it is much, much shorter than yours. Though I can tell Nefru is trying to make me feel less self-conscious, I can see that his body is also shivering slightly, and I can hear it in his voice too. Not a problem. Well, let's escort you two to the tailor. The two of you to the tailor. A curfew has been imposed on the city in preparation for the visit. Thus, it should not be a problem. In fact, it's best that we do it while you make your arrival speech, Amicus. The others will not need to be present for it, after all, aside from Cassius. Are you escorting them then? I was thinking the Chamian ambassador to Adastra might be able to do that. He needs to become more familiar with his fellow Chamian anyway. Wait, am I the Chamian ambassador? Because I remember there being some Thamic citizen, but he said he's not an official Chamian ambassador. There maybe is. I don't know. We'll see. I'm here. Sorry for being late. Misplaced my damn pet. my medication, I mean. Oh, that guy. A deep, gruff voice comes up the trail to the landing site, and I look to see a new creature. Well, not completely new. Despite not having heard his voice before, I do recognize the Wolverine. I'd seen him at the university about a month ago, but only for a few seconds. Nefru seems to be familiar with him, though. Brunus, I was wondering if you'd been dragged to this little outing of ours. Of course I was. I'm not doing much else on this damn moon, after all. Fantastic. Brunus shall be your escort. Escort? For what? These two need a tailor. I don't know where the hell that. Moving on. The orange bear makes a brisk come-on gestures to the rest of the group. Amicus looks unsure of what to do, but I give him a reassuring smile. I'll be fine. See you in a bit after your speech, okay? Alright. Sorry for not thinking ahead. I don't think any of us did. I'll see you again soon. Despite our talk earlier about PDA, Amicus pulls me into a quick hug before letting go. Sorry, it took me a few seconds to be like, oh right, public displays of affection, you know? Okay, I'll trust you're in good hands. Love you. Love you too. Then the greater part of our delegation heads up to another trail, toward the smaller grouping of buildings away from the city. What the hell? I don't know where everything is in the city, except the restaurant I went for lunch. And by the way, it was the blandest meal I've ever had. And since when did I become the escort service? I'm the goddamn chameleon bastard to Adastra. It looks pretty suspect when they shove off two chameleons and ban an alien right at the get-go. Manners, Brunus. You haven't introduced yourself to Dark, the abandoned alien. Really, Neferu? You're freezing your ass off? You're freezing your ass off, and so is he. I think his lips are turning blue. The Wolverine, in his much less formal style, has me feeling much more comfortable in his presence compared to most of the others I met on this moon. Hello, I'm the... I have to think for a moment, since I'm so used to being referred as a pet. I'm the Emperor's companion. Nice meeting you. You already heard who I am, eh? Anyway, let's get you some warmth. Dark, do you need it to find shelter? You look to be on the verge of hypothermia. I shake my head as I stomp my sandal-clad feet. I don't know, personally I think if I was carried by a Nefru, I think it'd be warm enough. But that's just me. I don't have... Okay, I do have a thing for jackals. It is what it is. I'll be good once you start moving. Right, let's get a move on that. I do start to feel a bit better as I copy the quick pace of my two furry companions, feeling more numb than cold as we enter the seemingly deserted city. Meanwhile, the two banter ahead of me. So why the hell did you show up here without a heat source, Nef? I had other matters on my mind, Brunus. Probably not now, eh? I can laugh pretty well. I assume you have drones? I'd rather not wear woven fashion. Of course I do. Wouldn't want to ruin your pretty looks, would we? Drones? Brunus glances back at me. Yeah, I know they wanted us to take you to a tailor or something, but can mean climate drones that you control your own temperature and such. Oh, I didn't even think such technology existed. All I saw at the palace were the central climate control. We can get you clothes if you prefer that. Doubt the tailor would know how the hell to dress you, though. Doc is simply not used to such balls. At least he can go back to such tech. He's only been exposed to the woven way of life. Shame. I have to show you the ways of Cameen comfort in a bit. Just gotta go get 'em from the flats. They stuck me in. I swear I can read. Where did they stick you, by the way? Believe it or not, I think it was a hostel. They cleared out a bunch of wolves right when I arrived. Seems a bit crude. This entire city is, even by Dastran standards. I'm pretty sure I walked into a fucking public whipping before the curfew kicked in. That makes me feel a bit on edge. While it doesn't surprise me, I'd been sheltered by the palace since I got here. As much as it could be called a shelter, anyway. But I've never really been exposed to the woven way of life. Brunus lowers his voice. I mean, they're practically barbarians, Neferu. Don't say that, Brunus. Besides, this area is practically disadvantaged politically and economically. Neferu's tone is quiet, but stern. I know. It's just weird seeing it in person, you know? You also seem to keep forgetting that the Emperor's companion is with us. Brunus looks at me. Oh yeah, sorry. You're with the Wolven Emperor, the Wolf Emperor, right? I wonder what he means by with, but I assume it's a lot considering it's fairly common knowledge. I clear my throat. Yeah, but you don't have to censor yourself in front of me. Brunus laughs. Well, it is my job to be delicate in front of important people, and I would consider you to be just that. I haven't known you for very long, Brunus, but delicate isn't how I describe anything you do. Why is that, Neferu? Because you're so... Neferu waves his paw lazily in Brunus's general direction. Well, you... What, 'cause I don't do things the traditional way? I did go to Sabayat, just like you, Neferu. I'm pretty sure I got higher marks, too. Academia isn't quite the same as real-world application. I don't think I've ever seen him blush. Yeah, and I've led a few dozen negotiations that resulted in some of the most important galactic treaties being signed. Conversation's sudden turn from friendly to tense is a bit jarring. It's clearly about a lot more than Brunus's delicacy. Delicacy? Okay. And I wonder if this was already a point of contention between them. Yeah, let's keep going. But as important as this, Brunus is quiet for a moment. You think your brother is trying to fuck this up for you? Huh? You think your brother's trying to fuck this up for you, huh? I kind of wish we had just gone to a tailor. Being inside someplace warm, while being fussed over by another wolf, is preferable than being alone with these two bickering Cameans. I did not say... Oh, you said it. You've more than said it. If you don't think I'm fit for the job, then just tell your boss. I'll gladly resign. Did you not want this job? I want it. I've trained my entire life for it. But if my own fellow Camean doesn't want me here, then that's a piss-poor start, don't you think? The silence really drags on as we turn to the street that's as empty as the last. I occasionally catch sight of wolves peering from the doors or balconies, but they quickly disappear as soon as I look up. Haven't you been here a few months, Brunus? It seems like you two are only just meeting. I feel the awkward silence, wanting to make myself more part of the conversation, rather than being a reluctant eavesdropper. Yeah, well, negotiations got delayed on the Kamiya side, and then I got shipped out here to be part of this whole, I don't know, whatever the hell this is. This is this is the first time I've spoken in weeks. We've spoken through portals several times, Brunus. Wish you'd been a bit more blunt about how you feel about me. I was simply asking a question. You're as informal as they come, and I just find it surprising that we were chosen. Listen, Nephru. Brunus turns to the jackal, and we stop. Yeah, I'm here for a reason. I'm a political statement. I'm a reminder, a scar for the wolves, to think about while they negotiate. Now that I'm focusing on these scars and prosthetic arm, I'm suddenly realizing who this might be and where he might come from. But I'm also damn good at my job, and I'll be honest when I say that you're not very good at yours. Nephru noticeably bristles, which is what surprised me the most about all of this. It is very, very hard to get under Nephru's skin. I can count, on one hand, the number of times I've seen it happen. I feel bad for Nephru, but he did provoke this argument, and I guess Kamians are supposed to be blunt. So I'm here to help you, and make this a success so that you're known for more than just getting your nuts cracked. I see Nephru's ears lower even more. Your brother might be an asshole, but he's not stupid enough to jeopardize the entire galaxis just to make you more miserable. After a few seconds, I see Nephru bring his expression to a more neutral state, though I see his eyes flick towards me for just a moment, probably wishing just as much as I that I wasn't here. I've got a vague idea of what's going on in your family, and I do think you got the shortest end of the stick, but that's not important here. Try to lower your voice a bit, Brutus. We have spectators. Sure enough, wolven heads have reappeared at the windows and balcony ledges, many of them staring wide-eyed at all three of us. Just know that I'm on your side, alright? Alright. Let's get him... now let's move before you reveal more sensitive information to a random passerby, shall we? Brutus turns and starts walking up the street again. Pfft. They wouldn't know what the hell we were talking about even if they could hear us, Nerf. Again, don't say such things. I'm not saying they're stupid, just that they don't have the context to understand any of it. Hell, I bet the Emperor's companion is the same. Brunus turns to me for confirmation. Well, I kind of wonder how long this scene's gonna go, but we'll just keep on going. I look around, deciding we're far enough away from the watching wolves not to be heard. I know about the situation with the Alliance, that there are issues between Nephru and his family, and I was actually wondering, although Brunus isn't looking at me, I can see his ears twitch lower with every word, just as Nephru's are coming up. I'm not intending to make him look foolish, but I don't want to be making the impression that I'm a clueless ape either. I've done that for far too long on this moon. Are you one of the Wolverines from Desheresh? Reth? Sorry if I'm being too forward, but I know Kamians appreciate that style of conversation. Nephru side-eyes Brunus. Yeah, actually. One of the two still alive. I'm sorry to hear that. It was a terrible thing that happened. Brunus shrugs. Too young to remember much anyway. Surprised you know about it. Sorry, I'm learning about politics and diplomacy, and all of that still. So if I overstep boundaries, just let me know. I appreciate it, actually. I'd have thought that you wouldn't have learned about what happened on Desheresh from a distant history. We seem to finally reach the Wolverine's flat as I walk around to the back of the two-story building and towards the door that seems to lead down to the basement. I've supplemented it with Chameleon recordings as well. Well, good on ya. I think now might be a good time to end it. Man, sometimes I read really well and sometimes I shite. Let's just... Okay, yeah, I guess we won't be going in, so we'll just be turning around leaving or something. But anyways, that's gonna be the end of this Let's Play. So anyways, please comment, guys. I like comments, tell me what you like, dislike, tips, as always. If you like my YouTube and would like to see it grow, then please like, subscribe, and share the race app grown. Please remember to survey near your animals, help control the pet population. And what this place is supposed to be. Like, there's stairs there, and it kind of looks like some kind of amphitheater or something, though it could also be a gladiatorial thing. I was thinking those might be water aqueducts. No, water aqueducts, no. These things here, like water trickling down here to like a reservoir, but it could also be roads or something. Well, the end of this Let's Play. And until next time, Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix of Interea. Oh, and if you want to play this game, itch.io. And if you want to support them, Patreon. So thanks, and see ya.